Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Everton 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. A home win for the Blues. Final home game of the season, and we won it. Joined by Cam from the Mighty Blues. Ped, a home victory for Everton. Very unusual, but important win.
Yeah, I mean, frustratingly so when you look at the league table now. Thanks Everton. No, it was good to have the fans back. Good to see an Everton team actually respond to the crowd. Yeah. It shows you how important they are. I know we've done this to death, but in the last few years, I have always fought on the side of the home crowd because, I am one of them home crowd, and I've heard all this nonsense about toxic Goodison Park and how it's the fans and all this. And guess what? It wasn't. It was the players all along. They took the Scooby-Doo mask off and found out it was the players all along. And I think yesterday we actually saw a bit of that.
Not old man Withers, no?
No, it's just the entire Everton team. I think we've seen a bit of that yesterday where the game for the first 80 minutes, let's be honest, Wolves dominated us. And we couldn't.
I thought you know what? Sat there, I actually thought we started the game all right, the opening 10 minutes, but then after that, for 20 minutes, we couldn't get out of it. And Jordan Pickford had to make a couple of really good saves and deflections. They had 9 corners in the first 40 minutes. And I think once we started getting a couple of opportunities and once we started to decided to stop messing around with the ball at the back and actually go long and hit the channels and dominate Richarlison, the crowd responded. They didn't wake up. They were always there, but they wanted something to respond to. And once that happened, I thought the players responded brilliantly. And players like Richarlison grew, and everyone started to dig in and throw tackles in, and I felt like a proper home game after a bit of a slow start. So it shows you how important it is. And as I said, for all season, it's not been a real season, home or away, and I'm just looking forward to next season getting back in there. Yeah, very much so. I mean, what did you make of the team, Cam? Obviously, James, on the way to the ground, I got a message saying you're not going to be seeing James tonight. I hadn't seen the team, and he was a bit tired. So, playing COD late at night does make you tired, to be fair. But what did you make of the team? Obviously, Mason Holgate went out, and Yerry Mina was back in, who was superb again. Hell surprise. But what did you make of the lineup before the game?
Thought, barring Tom Davies, who I thought again was unfortunate to not get in, because I think Tom Davies should be in there every week. I think it was the best we could put out. The James thing didn't really surprise me, to be honest with you. You know what you get with James Rodriguez, and obviously it doesn't sit well with Evertonians, because coming out and saying, I'm tired, I'm fatigued, I don't want to play, doesn't sit well at all. But, maybe Carlo looked at it yesterday or the day before yesterday and thought, well, if he plays against Wolves, he's not playing against City, and we want to play him against City because that might be an all-important game. Or maybe he just genuinely is tired and can't be bothered, I don't know. But I wasn't massively surprised by it, to be honest. I was thinking throughout the day, it wouldn't be so far for James to not even be there tonight and not even be included in the squad. I was happy that Yerry Mina was back in. I think he's exceptional, absolutely exceptional. And yeah, every other part of the team, I've seen some people criticising, what's that team? What else have we got? What else can we put out? It's not like we had a bench full of superstars. It's the best we could have put out. It's the best team we could have had. And, like I said, I think we started first 5 or 10 quickly, and then we just become sort of flat and void of ideas, and then you're sort of sitting there thinking, this is a worry now, because is this going to be the rest of the game if we had that little 10 minutes with the crowd, and now it's just going back to being awful. But we come out in the second half and we responded, didn't we?
Just going back to James Rodriguez, I must admit, it was the first time I was disappointed in him. I must admit. Every other time, we've defended him, and I've defended him this season with the injuries, in terms of that's the kind of person he is, or that's the kind of player he is. He wouldn't be with Everton. But I was disappointed in him for this game, because we said the other day, players calling off with little injuries and all the rest of it. For a player not fully knowing there's going to be 6,500 Evertonians in the ground, wanting to see him. No one's seen him in the flesh this season. I was really disappointed in him, and I think for a lot of people will turn around now and just say get rid.
I've seen people.
And I, do you know what? I can't say to those people, don't have that attitude, because why shouldn't you? If you know, I understand injuries. Now, like we touched on last week, seen a Colombian journalist talking about it, saying it's all him and it's his fault, blah blah blah. And Colombians are very critical. I mean, I've seen stuff today from Colombia talking about Yerry Mina and now because of his injuries, no one can't be relied on, all this kind of thing. But yesterday it was the first time where I thought, I can't defend you today.
Yeah.
You should be able to. Fatigue is just the most pathetic excuse for not being able to play football when you've played 80 minutes in about 2 weeks.
You would have thought he'd have, even if he wasn't fully fit to start or he was feeling a bit down, you'd have thought he'd have said, look, I want to be there, the crowd's there, they've come to see me. That's what I mean. You'd think he'd want to turn up and...
Didn't even turn up and do that. And that to fans is just like, what's the point? Like, we'll give you so much. And yet what yesterday showed was, in terms of a game of football, was sometimes you don't need to be the best team. Yeah, what you need is just to show something and everything else will follow. And to be fair, Everton have been like that probably the majority of my life. Yeah, it's not about being the best. It's about showing something. Yeah. And when people say, you know, when I've heard people saying after Sheffield United game, this is the lowest point of being an Everton fan and stuff like that. But I think the caveat to that is we've seen some absolute dross. Me and Baz will have seen some utter awful Everton teams. But you know what? I've seen utter Everton teams that have worked their bollocks off and have produced results and have produced what they needed to do because they were willing to roll up the sleeves, and then you added the quality later.
Yeah. In 95, was that a good strat?
No,
really?
It was a workman's.
It's 7 points.
It was a workman's.
8 points.
It was a workman's side that knew how to play football. Yeah. We've said before, it was like an Allardyce kind of thing when Joe came in and he drove us up. We started playing back, you know, very quickly back to front and all that kind of thing. But there's been when Moyes came,
we won the FA Cup from it.
When Moyes came in, you know, that team was rubbish. But when Moyes came in, it was like you work hard or you go. Yeah. It's as simple as that. I'm getting rid of all the older players and bringing in youth. I'm going to freshen it up, and then we'll add the quality
as we go.
As people start realising. So I know it's one of those things where it's like double-edged sword. A lot of Evertonians will say, you know, you can become a legend at Everton by just running through brick walls kind of thing. Where's the class? I know that, but as a fan base, we just want to see people give everything because that's what is expected of you. And if you've got a little bit more, then you'll become an absolute idol at Everton football.
The thing I noticed last night, and it was so weird. It was weird being back. It was great being back. I said to you, I wasn't really looking forward to going. I probably wouldn't have gone if it wasn't for Zach. But being there, the crowd made a hell of a lot of noise for 6,000. It really did. But seeing sometimes the players kind of looking as if to say, oh my God, I have got to run here. Yeah. Richarlison was the biggest one. Yeah. Watched him walk around the pitch for the last few weeks like he doesn't want to be there. Last night, I don't think anyone could level that off him. Ben Godfrey on a first run into a block tackle and the crowd stood up and was screaming and he was like, oh my God, like this is what they loved. And that kind of made him go, all right, I'll do that. And a couple of times he went to turn and pass the ball back and people, and then he kind of started to go, you need to go that way.
I actually said, well, I was doing the watch along, I actually said, players will know today that there's a man on them because the crowd will tell them. That's the first thing. It was
the thing of like groaning if we turn, and it was like, oh yeah, we need. And you could see in the first half Ancelotti's arms when he was trying. Knowing that. Yeah. There was like a 15-minute spell in the first half where it was just them and they were controlling it. And when we did get it, we were like looking and trying to pass it back. He's throwing his arms up. He's like, you can see him go the other way, and the crowd are doing it. And I did kind of notice and just think like stuff we've took for granted as fans forever because it's just been all we've known. It was all identified last night. Gylfi Sigurdsson come over.
He came out after the game.
But he come over to take a corner and everyone stood up and clapped him. And you seen him kind of go.
He came out
and he was like clapping the corner, you know, like, oh my God, the clap. And from that he grew. And I thought, to be honest, I thought he was brilliant last night, Sigurdsson.
But he said after the game, Gylfi Sigurdsson, he said, completely different. Fans just make the difference. Your adrenaline is pumping through you. This idea that football can be played without fans is just utter nonsense.
Training last night, I'll tell you one thing I did notice last night, just how vocal Jordan Pickford was.
I
Pickford and Yerry Mina.
I noticed that
only
in the
two.
Chelsea
Pickford
game,
was unbelievable. And you know, I give him man of the match last night because he made 2 crucial saves. He was great. His handling was superb. His kicking was superb.
Come for corners as well, didn't he? Come for everything.
He was brilliant last night, and I've had a go with him at times this season when he's been below par. But since the derby, he's been superb. But last night, he was so vocal.
Yeah.
Bless you, right? He was so vocal, organising, challenging people when he was turning around or getting people's faces. And I thought the crowd were magnificent last night. The street end was fantastic, noisy, and it was great. And you're right, it showed you that. It showed you anything.
Must feel allergic
Same
to
positive things.
It's anything that we lack in terms of creativity and ability. The crowd can bridge the gap by challenging these players to actually go and do it. And the other thing I noticed as well was just how slow we move the ball. It's not necessarily sprinting, because I think we probably do match a lot of teams being able to run. It's how slow we are moving the ball, and particularly in the first half, we were far too slow moving the ball around. Yeah. But, you know...
It's a mutual relationship, isn't it? The players respond to the crowd, and the crowd responds to the players. Like you said, Ben Godfrey made that challenge on Traore, and the ball never really went anywhere, but he just went absolutely through him, and everybody was up screaming, and then, whatever it was, 5 minutes later, there goes Michael Keane making the same, another absolutely brilliant challenge on Traore. Richarlison was flying in left, right and centre, a bit rash sometimes, but he was flying in.
He was pumped up.
Look at the celebration, his goal, you could see, he exerts a big massive roar, and you could see how much he's taken that energy in.
We had the first chance of the game, really, and it was a cross by Alan, actually. Alan, really, I was watching him, and he's really good on the ball. You see him looking for the quick pass, and it's not always on. He runs like he's in streaker, let's be honest. But I think if you had a couple with him, he could be really good for Everton. Just seeing him in the flesh is a little bit different, and you can understand where there's been no relationship with this team, with us, because we haven't been in the stadium. Yeah. So it's easy to not like people because you're not in the state. You know, like your frustration. Whereas last night, it was that thing, and you will have been to many, you will have welcome that thing where everyone kind of went, this is important that we win this game because we've been crap, and we're going to have to help these through. Yeah. And the crowd never once stopped. They were singing, cheering, clapping, even things when things had gone wrong, they weren't on people's back. And it did show you that when you do that, you can actually drag your team regardless of what's going on over the line. And we had the first attempt at the game. Alan crossed it in, and Richarlison flashed the header, and it was right at Ruddy. But you could see Richie, because the clapping, he kind of stood up as if like, it's the back again. But Wolves did move the ball quicker than us, and Jordan Pickford had to make 2 really good saves. The first one from Gibbs White. It was a brilliant save because it come through with ruck.
Yeah, they must just practice volleying from outside the
box. It's just as a masterclass every day.
Martinez must just sit them all down. No, it was a good save that because he saw it late. It was a good eye for him, but because he saw it late, it could have easily been one of them where you're like caught in the headlights, and he got it away, and it was a really good save, and it was in that period of time where we just couldn't get out of our half. Loads of corners.
Traore as well, didn't
he? He was such a threat in terms of creating problems without actually creating chances, if that makes sense.
We were worried about him, maybe.
So we were overloading, making sure, because let's be honest, he had Dean. We had Dean every time. Problem is that, well, not problem for us, but for him, when he knocks it past someone, he doesn't always have the ability to get there himself, even though he's that fast.
Throws himself.
But he just kept. We just couldn't get the ball down and start playing because they were just kept going. And it's that thing as well where you're desperately concentrating on not conceding, so you're not really worried about where it goes when you kick it away, and then it starts coming back. Yeah. And we just couldn't settle it down, and obviously that chance, and then they had the chance where it took a deflection and just flashed over. There was a shot from Traore, wasn't he? I think, was it Traore?
Yeah, from off the corner, yeah.
Didn't clear it. He should have hit it first time, actually. He took a touch, and he ended up having to toe poke it.
So we've had to go through that spell, as I said, but once we got through that, and the game started settling down, I think mentally for them as well, they were a little bit like, are we going to be able to score tonight? Because they don't have any natural goal scorers in the team, without Jimenez. And great news about him, by the way. He's going to start training in the summer, so that's brilliant. And then we'll buy him. No, but I think maybe after that period, they were a little bit like, we're not going to score today, are we?
What they are, though, you can see them, is they're still conditioned in that way of playing, so they're all comfortable in what they do. So it's in and they pop it off. Cody, it's the long diagonals, looking for Traore. And
they lost their 2 best forwards in one season though. Jimenez obviously through injury, and Jota went to Liverpool. So
and obviously Doherty as well, who I know Spurs fans would give a bit of stick to, but he was big part of what they did. You know, they brought Nelson Semedo in, who's a decent footballer, but Doherty, they had a way of playing and the diagonal ball. But I thought, like I say, Everton just looked like they've got no confidence on the ball.
Yeah.
You know, everything's 2 touches and get it out your feet and they're looking round, whereas they were much more confident in popping it off to each other. And it's something that obviously Everton will have to look as we go through the summer of bringing in a bit better quality. But I thought we finished the half quite strongly, really. We had a couple of corners, one that was knocked down, Richie couldn't just get the shot away, it got blocked, and we did push them back a little bit without really cutting them open, so to speak. But that kind of gave us the basis, I think, to go on in the second half. And obviously the managers had a little go at half time, tweaked it slightly, asked Godfrey to push on a little bit, and second half I thought we come out and started well. Yeah,
we did. We were much better in the second half, didn't we? And to be honest, I wouldn't have been surprised if Ancelotti and Duncan Ferguson had been in the dressing room and said, look, you've got 6,500 Evertonians here, go and play off them. They'll react to you and you react to them, because we come out and there just seemed to be a little bit more about us. There was a bit more battle. The defence for the entire game was exceptional. Michael Keane was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Ben Godfrey, Jordan Pickford, as you mentioned there, was exceptional as well. But we just seemed to want it a little bit more. We did go through that spell in the first half, which, like I said, it worried me, because I thought, okay, we've come out, first 10 minutes, we've looked good, and then we now sort of fell into the same old, you know, that's gone now, and we're just not a great footballing team. But we you know, again, they had a couple of half chances, Wolves, with the shots from outside the box, and we dealt with them. And then, like I said, I think we really reacted in the second half. We were creating chances. Obviously, we scored the goal early on in the second half as well, which is an absolutely fantastic header by Richarlison. And from that point on, you know, at the crowd noise, I think everybody was just feeling it there. They were wanting to perform and wanting to impress.
Important we scored early, wasn't it?
Because of the crowd. Godfrey goes after. I mean, let's be honest, the ball by Coleman wasn't very good. He was on a good run and then just knocks it. Like, I've done my bit, play it around the corner, but because of the crowd, because Godfrey had just gone on a run a little bit earlier than that, right at the very start of the second half, the crowd jumped up and you see him kind of like, oh, you like that, right? Okay, I'll do that again then, and he makes that run and gets the corner. Yeah. And obviously the corner.
Pace brings you though, isn't it? Pace allows you to have that, and we've got no pace, so a lot of bad balls don't go anywhere. Whereas with pace, bad balls can be made into something. Yeah, and it was important we scored. Got a
great ball in from Sigurdsson and a great header.
And he must hate him, wasn't he? Does it all the time. You know, he's done it in 3 of the 4 games we played against him in the Premier League, I think, hasn't he? So
it's on his debut.
Yeah. So it was a great header, and you could see what it meant to him, and it just lifted everyone, didn't it? Gives something to hang on to, which obviously was what we're always normally good at when we go 1-0 up, genuinely. So give us something to go after. And you could just see everyone lifted. You know, Gylfi Sigurdsson had a couple of shots in the second half. I don't think he even attempts if there's no one in that ground.
No chance.
I don't know why, but that's the kind of difference a crowd brings you. He hits a couple of great efforts. You know,
but we almost scored straight from the kickoff. We scored. We get the ball back, and the core releases Dean. Dean's running through, knocks it, and he puts it behind Dom. And Seamus Coleman comes in and scuffs his shot. It was a corner though, it was going. It hit Cody and went on, he gave a goal kick, but it kind of got us up a little bit then, and it was like, yeah, we can cause these problems. And then you're right, Gylfi's curled one, which fans on the other side, I was on this side, so I knew we'd miss, but on the other side, thought it was in.
In the pub, I thought it was in.
Well, the way he whipped it. And then the other one, I think, is going in as well.
The other one's got better, the other one's better.
It's Cody, and I think
the other one's better. The first one, he started too wide,
too far.
So when it comes back, but the second one's going in. The first one's like a sight, the second one's going in. But I don't think he would do that. And that's the difference, I think. I don't know why it is. I don't even know. I don't know whether it's like, I don't know. I don't know if you had this problem when you played, but do you ever have, like, when you played on a field and like there's behind the goal there's just masses of like other fields, so you can't really see the goal. So I don't know whether so it's like you feel like if you miss you're gonna hit it into this big wide abyss, and I don't know whether it's like when we play we don't shoot from outside the box because there's just an empty thing behind it, so the goal doesn't look the goal doesn't look
stand
big.
Out.
Yeah. Maybe with fans in the goal, makes the goal look bigger. I don't know.
I also think it's like you said before, or Cam said before, the feeding off the energy.
Yeah.
So it's the goal, and everyone's like bouncing of like, let's get the second. It's try the shot, because you hit a shot on an empty ground. You have to.
It hits the seats, yeah.
Don't we? But whereas with the crowd, it's like you want to hear that. You know, you want to get the shot. And hearing the noise from when Richarlison scored.
Yeah.
It gave us
the only thing I can compare it to, and honestly, this is the only thing I can compare it to, is when I run the marathon, and you got to places where there's loads of people. You honestly, you feel the energy, you get your adrenaline going, gives you that little extra bit. And when you get to places where it's dead quiet, and there's no one there, you get into your own head. Then you know what I mean. Your own mind starts taking over. You haven't got the distractions. You haven't got people lifting you up. And I can only imagine that's what it's like being in a football ground, is that when it's empty, is that you do go through the motions. Oh, it's another game, it's the same old thing. It starts to feel like a job. When people are there, footballers are like any other performers. They've got egos. They want to impress people. Imagine putting on like a play in an empty thing. You'd be like, imagine doing a play every single night to an empty stand. Do you know what I mean? Or empty theatre.
Yeah.
You're just going through the motions. The minute there's an audience there and they're clapping and everything else, it gives you that thing to do it again. Imagine playing 38 games of football. Yeah. One after the other, another empty stadium, another empty stadium.
It's the thing, isn't it? Especially because they are used to that. People play on empty pitches every week, and your pride and you want to win gets you through. But for them, it's going from having that adulation and that crowd noise to having nothing. Whereas last night, what I found was they kind of like realised that it was all right to play a bit crap because we just wanted to win. If that made sense, it was like, oh, there is something on this that we have to defend this properly. We have to keep it tight, and that's why they were making extra tackle, and a couple of tackles went in, and there was one where Sigurdsson sprints and just puts a foot in because someone else has, and the crowd have jumped up. Whereas and then Richarlison chased back to do it, and you're thinking, if there's no one in, do they make that run?
No.
It's kind of like, do I or don't I? Whereas with the crowd, I think the crowd were letting them know that it, like you said before, go out and run around, and this 6,000 will get you.
You've got
to be jeopardy on it.
But you've got somebody there who is critiquing everything you do though as well. Do you know what I mean? And that's not a case of like someone's giving you abuse. You've got at the end of the game, you've got all these people there who would loving the fact that they're there, and you've got to stand up and go, I did do my best in front of these players, in front of these fans today. It does add that extra
conscience in
it. It's mad that people have been. A lot of people have been taking it for granted for years.
You do though. You haven't known any difference.
No, football clubs have been taking it for granted.
Football clubs. But they won't know any difference.
Football clubs have been taking it for granted for years. And like I've said loads of times, this is when fans can now take the power back a little bit. But it should help with us in terms of like, when we had the originals in and all things like that, the rail seating and all that now should just be fast forwarded because it showed.
It's a massive
It showed not only financially but on the pitch the difference makes.
Do you know what else I noticed last night as well? And you probably found exactly the same thing when you were there at the Chelsea game. People realising that they had to shout louder because you're trying to make up for the fact there's not as many fans in there. So everyone, like we were stamping our feet in the upper Bullens on the wooden, everyone was doing it though. Now I sit up there,
and it's
full, and I do it because I'm like a little kid still, but loads of people don't do anything, whereas last night people were standing up, so the street end was screaming and shouting for everything, and it was dead noise. Zach said to me, this is louder than when there's 40,000 of us here, and I was like, I know. It was mad, but it was like people kind of took, A, they were made up to be back, and B, they took that thing of like, I think people started realising, actually, instead of sitting at home and just going, oh yeah, we're actually playing our part in this, we're participating in the thing, and they need us because they're not very good. And we can criticise and moan and go, why is Ancelotti playing him or why is he not playing him? Well, you know what? We've kind of got a job to do as well when we're there. If we're going to go on and be Evertonians and be proud and want to demand that we try to get up the league and win trophies, we've got a role to play in that as well. And it's go there, shout and scream your head off.
That's it.
Give the referee abuse.
Go through all the emotions. This is the thing. Someone said to me last night on Twitter. I was mentioning, I put a tweet out saying, "Oh, toxic Everton fans again." I was joking because obviously,
irony.
Because and he was like, "I remember you at a game and you were giving Marco Silva grief," and I was like, "So what?" So that's part of going the match. I'll give people grief and I'll also cheer and I'll also clap. Yeah. That's part of going the match. That's part of all the range of emotions. You can't sit there and go, "Whoa, well, yes, this is terrible, isn't it? But let's not give it to the manager or the players." I'll give the managers and players abuse all I want when I go to the match, as long as it doesn't become
abuse is not the right word.
No.
Be critical, like you say.
Abuse.
I knew we were all back when they announced the referee was before the game, and everyone booed before the whistle.
This is the thing. Started laughing, you can't take these away from football fans.
It's what
football is. Yeah. And when people, like I said, it's like it comes down to the basic thing. Someone's got the ball, and the whole crowd goes, "Man on!" or 10, and it's like no one else is shouting it, so you might as well shout it. It's all those things. Put a ball in or something. It does make a difference, and obviously we just saw that little bit extra last night. And Richarlison, I thought, was a key player for that. I thought second half he was brilliant, just in his work rate and actually knowing how to pass to Dominic Calvert-Lewin was a huge.
Once he scored the goal, he went up another level. Let's have a look at his number from last night on the screen any minute now. There we go. Shots 2, both on target. Goals 1, completed 80% of his dribbles, 4 out of 5. 2 key passes as well from him. And his heat map here, just kind of backing up what you said, Ped.
Everywhere.
He was all over the place, so that was really good. You're right, he did pass to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He put him through, which was. It was weird in the game. Like sometimes the both of them had the other one on, and they still wouldn't play. It was dead strange, and I must admit I've dismissed it for weeks and weeks and weeks when people have gone, they don't like it, not talking or whatever, and up until the goal I was thinking, is there something in this? Because twice in the first half, both of them with the right ball and the other one had it, and neither of they turned away from each other and knocked it back. But when he scored the goal, one of the first people over to him was Dom, and he rubbed him on the head and all that, and I thought, the Al Sheringham and the Cole thing, one would walk away when the other one scored or whatever. No. But there was nothing in it. So really, I think it's just basically they both need to be better because they're not seeing the pass for the other person. Yeah. But Richie ironically did. He went on, after he scored, went on a run and put Dom through with a nice little left-footed ball, and Dom probably should have gone across Ruddy. He went to the near post and Ruddy's had to make a save.
A hybrid shot, I called it. I don't know where that... Someone said it was a golf phrase, and I don't know where I got it from. He didn't quite hit it with power, and he didn't quite hit it with accuracy. He didn't hit it with the laces, and he hit it with the instep. It was a little bit of like...
Just how he shoots, though. He
either pull it back to the other post, or just smash it as hard as you can with your laces.
He hits it, he shoots with the inside of his feet.
I know.
I thought it went in at first, because I didn't see Ruddy.
You were drunk on pizza, weren't you?
Obviously, he had 5 pieces of pizza and didn't know
what. I had a couple at that point,
There's slices of pizza coming through.
It just felt like it should have went in.
I think it looked like it went back. It looked like it spun.
It just felt like it should have went in.
And then he had another one with Richarlison done well again. He pulled it out the air and went down the line and put it across, and Dom almost got across the defender. He just flicked it wide.
He was brilliant.
But he had a really good game, and feeding off the crowd as well.
That's it. He was absolutely excellent. As Ped said before, these footballers are performers as well. Ultimately, it's entertainment for all of us, and I think Richarlison feeds off being a performer. He feeds off that crowd, that energy, that noise. That you could see him. He's been lost recently, and don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying he's the perfect footballer and he doesn't need to improve. Of course, he needs to improve. He's got a lot of things to improve on, and that relationship and partnership with Dominic Calvert-Lewin is certainly one of them. But you could see yesterday he was absolutely made up to have Evertonians back in the stadium. Even his celebration, the roar, the scream, the kiss and the badge. And I know some fans don't particularly like all of that, but you could see how much he wanted it, how much he wanted to score and battle and get involved. Even he had a couple of opportunities where the ball's over there and he's throwing slide challenges in here, and he's not going to get anywhere near the ball, but he's just getting himself involved because he knows the crowd are going to react to that, and he loves it, doesn't he? He loves the energy, he loves the crowd, he loves the singing, he loves when a song's sung, he absolutely feeds off it. He loves getting on social media afterwards, and Remember when football first returned last year after the lockdown, and there was murmurs about, I wonder if Everton will play better at home without the crowd, or maybe these players will be much better because there'll be no pressure. The reality of the situation is these players need the crowd. They need us there. They need
Every
us
player
screaming,
needs
they need
crowd,
us shouting.
apart from maybe the 1% at the very top. But every single player feeds off
that emotion,
that pressure. Well, it's not. It's pressure, isn't it? An emotion. It's pressure. You need pressure to, you know, to be. Maybe in the off game, you might go to someone, could do with, someone might feel like they could do with that one game. But when it comes to 38 games in a season, you need. Football's a pressure game.
Yeah.
It's a pressure. Or managers, giving it all the time.
I said on my Mathew action, and I am convinced that no team needs the crowd like Everton. Yeah. I've heard other people say it, I've heard Liverpool say, but for us, because we have to bridge a quality gap.
Yeah, we do.
The crowd really helps us.
And that's why certain players are successful at Everton, a certain mentality. Ben Godfrey looks like he's got that certain mentality, and others don't quite live up to it.
Well, let's have a look at someone who people say struggles sometimes with the crowd, but who was really good last night again, which was Michael Keane, who's in general over the last years had a really good year. He's had up and downs, I think, this season. I think we'd be lying if we said anything different, but I thought he was excellent last night. 8 clearances, 1 block shot, interceptions, I don't know where they've gone. Ned swerved us there. Tackles 2, 60% of his ground duels won, and won 7 out of 9 aerial duels. And I thought he was very good last night, Michael Keane, including running back and putting a tackle in on a Adama Traore.
No, I thought he
very impressive.
I thought he played well against Sheffield United in the whole as well, and thought he played. I think he is like one of those players who just goes into. He has waves of form. Yeah, and I thought he played well last night. And the tackle on Traore was one of those things where it was. He gave him the opportunity and he took it. Yeah. And the fans loved that, do you know what I mean? He knew that at that moment there, if he didn't jump in, Traore probably would have gone past him, and then he's in behind. So he took the chance, and it's little things like that fans really appreciate it, especially when Traore's running away from you and you size him, that. You're thinking, because he did look like he'd done him at first. But no, he had a decent game. Him and Mina complement each other when we want to play in a certain way. So,
1 interception he had. No.
So he did all right last night. No criticisms.
Confidence playing, any Michael Keane. When he's confident, he plays very, very, very well. And I think yesterday he was. And I don't
think you can have that though. I honestly don't think you can have a good team with confidence players in. I really don't. I just don't think you can. Yeah. You will have a dip, and you will always have dips in your season, and I don't think you can rely on players. When you've got to have play, all right, maybe 4. So Michael Keane is actually the perfect player for a club like Everton, or perceived club like Everton. Yeah. Because Everton have dips and the players have dips. But if you want to be a team that finishes in the top 4, you can't have players like Michael Keane. I'm sorry, you just can't. I know that's harsh, but you just can't.
The other player who had a really good game was obviously Ben Godfrey, who the crowd.
But we can't have Ben Godfrey. And lots of them.
And there you go. Yeah, so
there is lots of them.
Let's have a look. 4 clearances, 1, 50% of his ground duels, 4 out of 8. 50% of his aerial duels, 2 out of 4. 3 tackles and 1 key pass. I mean, them numbers aren't amazing, but...
I still really can't work out where he was playing in the second half, though. I still can't work out where Seamus Coleman was playing in the second half.
Seamus Coleman was a mix between centre of the park and right wing, but Godfrey, he did push right on in the second half to be an attacking right fullback. And what he showed was, he's obviously not the most cultured on the ball, so he's not going to be doing step overs and stuff. But what he did show, he had a shot in the first half, didn't he, joining him, and Luca Dean cut it back, and I think it was Seamus blocked it actually. But in the second half, he showed that if you've got someone with pace who just drives at the opposition, they're terrified. He won about 3 corners on the run just by running at them, and they were worried about him then, and started having to retreat a little bit, and it gave us a little bit more space. And what I thought watching the game was if Everton actually had another mobile midfielder in the middle of the park with the Corey and Allen, and then had either a fast right winger or an attacking fullback, the team would look.
Well, I was just going to say, if we had someone on the right hand side who actually could drive forward and have quality, then those players do change how our team sets up completely,
and our team looks.
Yeah, completely.
Absolutely.
You know, it doesn't have to make a difference. You know, I know in terms of a squad, it seems that we're a while away from being there, but in terms of picking up points, we're not that far away. You know, 59 points from 6 home wins.
I said to the other day, and it is a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but I did say it. I said it to Cam and Ned the other day. It's like when people are saying, like, they're light years behind Leicester, like, you know, 10 years behind this, and we're 7 points behind them. You know, so we've been, in my opinion, we haven't been very good this season. Yeah. We haven't been terrible. Like you said before, we've seen much worse than this. God, talented players. It's just ridiculous what we've watched in the past compared to now. But we're 7 points behind a team who everyone says are amazing. So, you know, we're 7 points behind the champions. Well, not the champions anymore, but last year's champions. So we understand that. We know our limitations. I'm not sitting here going everything's all right with the world, because it isn't. Yeah. I think Everton's big strength, Carlo said that after the game again last night, is defence. Our defence is our strength.
Yeah.
We know we need to be better offensively, but I remember Arsenal winning trophies by being very solid defensively.
I think when that is the case, I suppose you've got to have a way of scoring goals.
Yeah.
And set pieces and crosses have been our way, haven't they?
Small margins,
and it is small margins. But what's mad is if we did have just that one player who could open up teams, like by just being fast, then we'd get a lot more crosses in the box, and a lot more centre forwards could gamble a lot more. And
James would look totally different if James played in at number 10, which he's done a few times, and we had someone who was lightning out wide on the right.
We'll put it this way.
You know what else? Sorry, but what else I noticed last night was how much more space Luca Dean had, because Ben Godfrey was flying down the right with James.
What I was going to say then is, though, if you look at Wolves' team, they've took a centre forward out their team, right? Traore, right? When we were looking before at the Michael Keane tackle, me and Cam, we were just looking at it. Traore gets a split second where he can whip a ball in. Michael Keane, he took Michael Keane out of it. He looks, and that look puts Michael Keane in then to take the ball off him. And if he whips it in then, he puts it behind our back line. But he looks, because he knows they haven't got a centre forward. Whereas when they had Jimenez, they were great. They were great. They were scoring goals. They were in Europe. They got Europe, didn't they? They had a couple of really good seasons, right? Of good first great season, and Europe in the second season. That shows you that. And Traore's not that good. Yeah. He's fast, but without a centre forward. And we're the other way round. We've got someone like Dom in there, but you haven't got that player who can put it in there. So Wolves are showing what happens if you take the centre forward out of it. We've got centre forward. Now if we get the winger. It could make. I'll be honest with you. I think if one of a top coach got hold of Traore and just said to him, there'll be 3 players in the box, just keep whipping it in. Yeah. They'd score. I don't think he's amazing, but I think that pace in a team like them
being able to do it though, and he's 25 now, isn't he?
No, but he creates that yard. If he just whipped it in, if you just said to him, just keep whipping it in, he'd get good assist numbers. But anyway. It shows you that if you've just got that little extra thing, that little extra bit of pace.
I noticed it last night and this isn't me having a go at Gylfi Sigurdsson, because this could be Allen coming up the side. But if there was another mobile midfield player in, with him and Allen, like I said before, Sigurdsson for me had a really good game last night.
He did.
And if you had, the irony of it is, if you did have a fast winger and you had 2 mobile players alongside Gylfi in the 10, he'd be fine, because he'd have options, because people can run. What Everton didn't do last night was no one is prepared to run and join in with them.
No.
Decore is covering other things. It still didn't look fit to me, but he put himself about. He was covering. Alan's trying to get us playing, but he isn't quick enough. And Gylfi's trying to pick pockets, but isn't quick enough. So I think if he was, you could still use him in that Everton squad if you bring in another mobile midfielder, and you can mix the 3 up then.
But I was looking at
pace and power.
I seen the highlights of West Ham last night, and that's a big difference that they've got on us, and that's why they've qualified for Europe. Is their first goal, I think they had 4 or 5 in the box. But the build-up was exactly the same as ours, though. It was built up, they put it into Souček, he put it wide, they threw a ball in, but when they threw the ball in, they had 5 players in the box, and it went to the back one knocked it back, and he got a tap in. Yeah. The second goal, is off a corner. It's a corner. Yeah. Scored off a corner like us, and the third goal's a breakaway, but when they break away, there's 3 of them. And the one running with the ball has got pace. Yeah. I think it was Lingard. He's got pace, and then Antonio makes a nice little run, stays on side, and gets a shot first time. But what it was player running with pace. So the player who's got the ball is running with pace, but exactly the same. Just put crossing. West Ham have scored the most set pieces this season in the Premier League, right?
We're up there.
Exactly, but that's the point. They're not doing it any different from what we've been doing it. It's just the difference is they have players with a bit more mobility and a bit more pace. And that's the difference.
I looked at when Richarlison, there was one in the second half. It was the one where Dom tries to get across. One where he pulled down Richie and went on a run. But it was him and Dom. Yeah. And that was it. Yeah. Everybody else just hung back. And it was like, if you had a third one.
Defensive, innit?
But if you had a third one, the minute Dom goes near post to try to get the flick, if your third one carries on running, he's got to tap in at the far.
But the irony is that was Wolves' problem as well. Because their biggest threat was Traore playing wide. So every time he broke, he looks up and he's got no one to cross it to.
Yeah.
And you need players in pace. You need that extra man in midfield who can join the attack because he's got pace. And you need a winger with pace or fullbacks who are going to bust a gut.
And the other thing, I guess, as well, the other thing I was looking at as well last night, again, just thinking, when you go through it and what do we need and all that, there was really no options on the bench. You know, Andre Gomez come on for 5 minutes. We brought Mason Holgate on for a minute. Tom Davies come on and he should have come on. He was fine. Yeah. He went and sat in midfield. He was fine. There was no issue with that one. But there was, Josh King was warming up. I mean, quite clearly, Carlo doesn't rate Josh King in the slightest. After that, Iwobi, I don't think there was ever a time Iwobi was coming on. Bernard. No. So, for Everton to move on, like I've said many times, for me, it's impossible.
It's really easy, isn't it?
It's impossible not to get the right players this summer. I'd trust a 6-year-old kid to choose just by going, do us a favour, go on your FIFA thing, just pick 4 players you can run, and that's it. Yeah. Because we've got if Everton get it right back and they're after one, and they get a right winger and they're after one who's fast, and then we get a mobile centre midfield player, and then we get a striker to go on either on the bench but he's got to be a little bit versatile, but a Terran Moffey maybe who's coming through, you can use him, or a Hwang at Leipzig who can play a couple of positions, or someone like that, and you add them in to that mix. I think Everton are a lot closer than what people think, especially if they can recreate the defensive nature of it, the way they've done this season. And that doesn't mean being defensive every single game. It just means maintaining, because to build, and this is what David Moyes was good at, he maintained things that were positive from the season before. Yeah. Money let him down, that he could never go to the thingy. But so if Everton look at it and go, well, we've won 11 away games, and we win 12, we're in Europe, look at it like that. But if we've won 11 away games, playing this way, I don't care if Everton play away from home 19 times next season defensively. Yeah. And we nick wins and we win 7 or 8 games. As long as when we come back to Goodison, we're on the edge of our seat because we're attacking. But exactly, you've got to maintain the two.
But what we need would help us.
It would, massively.
In a way. Well, in a way, because it's the same thing. It's the pace. And counter-attack. Yeah. It's the pace to counter-attack.
And we must do it okay away because we've had 11 wins.
Yeah. So we defend, we sit in brilliantly.
But what I mean is we must break at times. We've seen it like to Leeds and stuff.
We break in a different way though, don't we? We break like against Leeds. It's to get the ball into like a Luca Dean in good areas and then like spring the trap. And then obviously we've seen that night where we did it that night. Anfield for the second goal.
Anfield for the first goal.
Yeah. So it is about the players that will help us play at home are the same players that help us play away in that style.
Better players.
In that style. Better players. Players can actually run. Run round. Players can actually run.
Makes a difference.
Fast, physical, strong and good quality.
Do you think last night the manager felt like he had to bring Andre Gomez on because otherwise it was like it had to be all the Portuguese players? Like,
just to
make it up, yeah.
Maybe he had a whisper in.
You know what I mean? It was like,
yeah, he's Portuguese.
Gotta let
I was thinking that maybe he wanted to showcase.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, right?
Neves.
I'll tell you what. If I was Portuguese and if I was going to take up one job, it would be barbering.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. The Barnet's on show last night from the Andre Gomez.
And the beards as well.
Honest to God, the barbers in Portugal must be like rolling around in like full-on sports cars and everything.
They're pure. They're on point. The stylists are on point.
They must be like the gangsters of Portugal.
Well, maybe he threw him on to just go, he's Portuguese, you know, to Nuno.
Yeah. Do you need another one?
Because isn't Mathew
Look at how much he fits in with your team, mate. He's even given the ball to you.
Andre Gomez would be, would be amazing.
Neves and Gomez for Wolves. Oh, exceptional. The beards, hair. Class next season. But
if I was a Portuguese barber, I'd charge by the hour. Honestly, I would charge by the hour. Incredible scenes.
They're more like stylists than barbers because it's long, it's flicked back, and it's the beards.
Well, that's why they charge so much, because they don't actually cut their hair once a year.
Yeah, so they probably give them a facial massage as well. But no, listen, we won the game, and it was
good
for me. It was mostly in part to Jordan Pickford, who I think, like I said before, has been magnificent since the derby. So let's have a look at Pickford last night. 3 saves, 2 in the box, 1 punch, 1 high claim.
What was his save outside the box?
That's what I was thinking.
The one from Thingy.
Is it in the 6-yard box?
Oh, sorry. No, when you said, I was like, so he'd saved outside the box. I was like, hang on.
No, but look at his passing accuracy.
Yeah. No,
he hit 2 where he just dinked it to Ben Godfrey.
Yeah.
It was superb, 80%.
He hasn't been to see his
Portuguese
style out.
His Barnett's
well, fair play to him.
His Barnett's
been spot on.
And 12 out of 16 long balls.
He's since February.
Yeah.
He's been absolutely the mindset change, and what he's done is he's not done anything spectacular. No. He's just done what's been expected of him.
Yeah.
And I think he's gone back to like when his first season with us, when he was very good.
He looks, when you see him, he always looks switched on now. There's no pulling tongues or doing anything stupid. He just, he was
having his water bottle drink last night.
Even if he concedes a goal, it's just a case of, well, that's happened, it's gone now. There's no stupid nonsense. And do you know what? If maybe if one player has been helped by having no crowd, it is Jordan Pickford. Yeah. And that's just a case of, that's not because of abuse or anything, that's just concentration.
Yeah.
And he's probably had to have a look at his game properly because of what was happening and with no crowd, and he's come out the other side.
Don't forget, this was a fella that, as Evertonians, we were all talking about, you know, we needed to move on. But also, though, for the England situation, people were saying that he was going to lose his place. And when you look at the players, that was saying was going to take his place off him, you know, they're not the best, are they? So he's been great, Jordan Pickford. He really has. And you know, I know personally, I've said some things about his game and some things about the way he handles himself. But he really has turned it round for the last 3 months, and he's been a massive positive in that time, a massive positive.
So if he can keep that going, another clean sheet last night, so if he can...
10 clean sheets for the season.
Yeah, highest save percentage as well in his Everton career.
I mean, I don't know if that's a good stat or a bad stat, though.
It's good for him.
It's good that he's making saves better that way, but that's something to build on, isn't it? You know, because we'd had a situation where we didn't keep a clean sheet for about 17 games or something crazy like that.
And that's why we ended up playing the way we did. Yeah. Said this loads of times, the manager had to turn around and make a decision, and he did. And whether people like the manager or not, which everyone should,
it's baffling that
which everyone should, the manager turned around and made a decision and went, this team could not play this open, it does not have the balance, we have to be defensive. He made the decision, and that's what won us.
We've got 59 points. If we were to win on Sunday,
62.
We'd have 62, which would be more than...
Thanks, lads, for that.
No, what I mean was, it's already, we've got more points than we've got in 4 of the last 5
Well, if we win on Sunday, it's down to Spurs and Leicester. And
we're in Europe. Leicester will win by at least 3 goals on Sunday, because they've got to. They've got to try to put pressure on Liverpool. Liverpool will get in on goal difference, and then obviously the ESL stuff might come.
I asked for goal difference. I asked for 60 points, right, this season. That's what I said. I wanted 60 points, and that to me would represent a good season. If it was enough for Europe, then if it wasn't enough for Europe, so be it. But I thought 60 points was a good tally. So I'm really hoping we can get 60 plus on Sunday, because I know it's tough and I know everything else, but we've got something to play for. They haven't. They've got they've got a party afterwards.
That's it.
And
Well,
then they've got, get in there first minute.
Exactly.
Smack.
Exactly. Do you want to play
Don't
that
do it to the
final?
legs. Do it shoulder barge, straight off the
Let them know
pitch.
you're in it.
Straight off the pitch. Oh, you hit a boarding. Oh, you might get injured there, lads.
Yeah.
European Cup final next week. Okay.
6 days.
Okay.
You've got to look at it like this. We're going to game 38 with something to play for.
Yeah.
We win, we're in Europe.
Yeah.
Because for me, honestly, Tottenham aren't winning at Leicester.
And when was the last time we had the last game of the season that there was anything riding on?
Exactly.
Whatsoever?
So, all right, it's hugely unlikely we'll win, but it's a crazy season.
Brighton beat them the other day.
Brighton give them a 2-goal lead and
Yeah.
beat them. I know it was against 10 men, but even so. But Leeds, we won there with 10 men not long ago when they needed to win City. So it's highly unlikely, but it's been a mad
It's not
season.
highly unlikely.
Not with our away form.
Well,
We've
it's
beaten everyone else
unlikely.
this season.
No,
except
but
Man
I'm
United,
saying that
Chelsea.
listen, they're champions.
Oh,
And
no,
they're probably going to be European champions, so they're a top side. But we've got the opportunity
Ultimately,
to
go out
do
there
something.
and leave it all on the pitch.
Yeah.
Just leave it all on the pitch.
And you know what I'd do as
And
well?
what happens, happens.
I'd say because it's going to be a difficult game and you can't out-football them and you can't break their press because we don't move the ball quick enough. Sunday, just do what Ronald Koeman did to them a few years ago, which is sit in, block them off and play it long to Dom and say to Richarlison, run after it. And we just go back to front. I know it's crap. And people might sit there and what's the point of that? Well, the point is we might actually get in and win a game.
See if it works.
I watched Brighton the other night. Get the ball for all the passing and all of that Brighton did. They were more effective when it went wide and they just launched balls into the box and they attacked it. They scored a couple of goals from it. So let's have a look at the stats just very quickly before we finish this. 1-0 obviously. 14 attempts at goal by Everton, 9 by Wolves. 4 on target for the Blues, 3 for Wolves. No big chances each. 41% possession, but in the sweet spot.
It's the sweet spot.
38.
It's 38, and it's got a 3-point swing. There you go. The 3 swingers there. Once again, science is proved right.
59% to Wolves, 377 passes from Everton, 528 to Wolves. But the most important stat: Everton 1, Wolverhampton 1. Does nil. The first double over Wolves since 1971-72 season. So
I mean, that's more their fault for being rubbish.
Well, I'm just saying they've been up for a few seasons and we haven't managed it, and we have this year. So there you go. Yeah, that's it. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Everton have won their final home game of the season. Only the second victory since December at Goodison Park. Crazy. But we won and it was another clean sheet, so that's good. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Check out Cam on the Mighty Blues YouTube channel if you want more videos, including daily live videos. Join us on Patreon, where we do answer some of the questions
live right now
on
Patreon.
The game, the final word. We carry on
We carry
Patreon.
on.
So go and get yourself over there. Thanks for watching. See you later.